That was
music. Muppet dance.
Where are you going? Everyone's fading in and fading out.
Oh, we're live. I thought it showed up on the top right. I thought we were still just goofing around in the background. Hey, people.
Hi.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. I'm like waiting for somebody else to introduce us, but I guess I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Welcome back to more Moms of Real Estate. I am so excited to be here with my amazing friends, Miss Beka Shea and Mrs. Stephanie Betters. I guess I should
whatever her name is.
Miss whatever. They are amazing mamas. And I am so excited for this show because we are going to just kind of just focus in on Mrs. Beka Shea because she did something amazing this weekend. Actually, both of you did.
Yeah,
you did. So let's focus in on
Stephanie went first.
About Flip Hacking Live, but first I'm gonna give the floor to Beka because we're gonna do what we usually do.
I feel like we should just talk real quick about what this means. Yeah, baby.
Woo! A little wrinkly here.
The badass woman in me honors the badass woman in you.
People surprised us with these shirts, and I feel empowered. I don't know about you.
My children are like, your shirt has a bad word on it.
I do.
It's okay in this context.
Don't worry about it. It's Mom's shirt.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it. Anywho, so I saw these shirts on Instagram because it's Instagram. So I ended up being like the first time in my life being an ambassador for a brand. I was like, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of shirts and I'm gonna hold them in my closet until I figure out time to actually send them out. So I've actually had these shirts forever. I was like, I gotta send them out. So I sent it out to my three amazing moms, and I love you all. And you guys, I thought of you guys when I saw this shirt.
I love it.
Because you guys are all badasses.
It's awesome. So cool. So my 12-year-old has taken to stealing my clothes, which normally I give her like the tight clothes. They fit her perfectly. She's like, can I have that shirt? Like, no. What are you going to do? Wear it to school and get sent home? Yeah. I don't think so.
Did they go to Catholic school or they used to?
They used to. Now they go to public school. Keely, you said you're using a Canon camera. Is that why you look tanner? Do I need a Canon camera? Or?
I don't know. Maybe. And I also switched out the lights a little bit. So this is probably, I'm not blown out basically.
I like this. I'm going to take this approach. Time to upgrade some equipment here.
I know, right?
Okay. Let's just give the quick update of what's going on in our lives, and then we'll come back to like details.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. All right. So was at Flip Hacking Live last week. It was great. It was with my team in Nashville. I'll tell you all about how fun it was to be behind the scenes. And then we came back and we launched, the new program. And I will tell you all about that insanity. I think I hope we are like the ducks where like we look really calm on the top, but right now we're like this underneath. And then on the family front, my kids started in school like 2 days a week. And today there's no one in my house. It's amazing. Which I feel really awful because, which is funny, right? This is automatically followed by guilt because COVID is like on the rise. You see all the cases going up like crazy. We're at like third wave. And I was like, man, am I going to regret, being so happy that my kids are going to school? We went to a parade last night, which like Elverson, the Halloween parade, which you would think, all right, it's outside. If we all wear a mask, we'll be fine. Well, we show up and like, I swear only 5% of people were wearing masks. And it was packed. I was like Matt, like our family, I feel like was the only one wearing masks, which thank you, rural Pennsylvania. That is par for the course at this point. But I was like, great, there's gonna be a massive COVID outbreak here in Elverson. It's all gonna be because of this damn parade.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, so that's the life update. Things are good. My husband's business, I don't know how much we've talked about that on here. My husband's a rocket scientist. He started a aerospace startup 5 years ago. Doing propulsion for small sats. And for 5 years, they've been building like just in this, not like real estate where it's like 3 months, 6 months, we make money. 5 years. we're supposed to have a launch at the end of November. That will be their first launch. So he is super stressed out. And I am just trying to be as helpful and pleasant in the background as I can be.
You're one of the most helpful, pleasant people I know. So I don't
that is who you are.
difficult.
That's exactly who you are.
Yeah. So that's my life update. Stephanie Batters, give us your life update.
Last week, crazy week. Spoke at Flip Hacking Live, which was amazing and super intimidating. Had 2 other masterminds that I spoke at too, which was awesome. Kind of like all my little worlds. I had talked about like my systems world with CRMs and Left Main, which is the CRM that I launched off Salesforce with that partnership. And then I talked about Facebook marketing to another group, which I like to nerd out over the bots and automation there too. And then Flip Hacking Live, which I talked about, the journey really. And that was kind of actually the hardest thing to talk about because I'd much rather talk about the tools, the systems, the tactical stuff. And I felt really challenged to talk about what happens under the water, like how do you survive this crazy journey, So it took me so long to prepare for that because I was like, shoot, how do I articulate this? I have 25 minutes. There's no crying allowed, what do
There was so much crying.
But yeah, it was a really, really and
is that her or me?
That's her.
Oh no,
she was Stephanie on the most important part.
Oh no,
I was featuring the most key moments.
What did you hear me last say?
We heard. That's what we heard.
What was the last sentence you heard?
I don't even know.
Oh, well, anyway.
You were the last thing you said.
We were talking about crying and going emotional and going deep in the.
Yeah, that presentation was really real. Like how it feels to deal with this with your spouse and with being a mom and how to learn how to build a business and how to learn how to be a leader and learn what your needs are and how to take care of yourself, So it was a very vulnerable presentation and I tried to keep it on time and not cry during it, right? So I succeeded. I did not cry and I was on time. And then this current week and last week, this is really the first 2 weeks of my public launch for the CRM. And it's been blazing busy, like so busy, so many new clients, so many cool things happening there. So it's just been a lot. It's like a little bit of a sprint right now, but I'm loving it.
Yes.
I'm dancing for you.
I'm going to come back and ask you to give like a mini reprise of your presentation.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Really?
This week has been actually it's been calmer than the other weeks. And I think it's because I started 75 Hard again. I started year 2 of 75 Hard journey. I actually even got the app and the book because apparently there's a book now and that there's an app now. So I'm actually following that. I'm going to start reading the book today. And I realized I need stuff like this. I need like structure. I think last month, because I was so focused in on the kids, I was so focused in on schooling, I kind of lost my own structure. So I'm back to waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm back to exercising twice a day. I'm back to drinking a gallon of water. I'm back to eating healthy, no sweets, no alcohol, no wine. I think I'm getting headaches every day though, because
caffeine.
I'm going through. No, I'm still doing caffeine.
Oh, I'll drink that. I'll drink a gallon of water.
I'm still doing that. Okay, So coffee break. Actually, maybe I should tone down on the caffeine. Anywho, so this has been a level 10 week. Like all of last week and into this week has kind of been level 10. And I felt really kind of awesome because so many people I know were ramping up into these amazing things. You guys have Flip Hacking Live, some other friends in large multifamily. I'm actually speaking at a multifamily conference this weekend, the North Star Conference. It's going to be amazing. So many amazing multifamily people. Brandon Turner is keynoting the conference. I'll leave the link someplace below for anybody that wants to join. I actually have 2 free tickets. So you know what? The first 2 people that comment below, and you have to comment on my page.
Comment on Julie's page. She'll give you a ticket too.
That's a deal. I'm thinking, do I qualify? Can I go over there real fast?
Or you guys can. So if Beka and Stephanie don't take the tickets, I have 2 free tickets, and you guys can come join. It's going to be an amazing conference. So I have so many people that know how to are ramping up. And right now I have a moms group, moms of multifamily, that I go in, and I am trying to get my mamas to go to each other's conferences, because all the mamas in there are at a certain level. And I think we would all benefit from joining each other's conferences. So I'm actually going to Liz Faircloth and Andressa Giardelli's week-long free conference this week. So if any of the mamas out there are listening to me, go to the Invest Her community, pop in there. You can still join for the last, I think, 2 more days. And then some other friends, my friend Zendaya has an amazing conference that she's putting on. There's just so much content out there.
Did you say your friend Zendaya?
No, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, she decided to get into large multifamily too. Anywho, so it's just been an amazing 2 weeks. It's kind of, I'm finally kind of at the point, I think, that you guys were talking about, where everything kind of like mellows out a bit with the homeschooling and everything. So, and then I'm starting the process of packing, because we are in Tennessee.
Traveling. It sounds like you're traveling quite a bit.
We're moving to Tennessee.
But traveling to these conferences, are these virtual or
all virtual?
Oh, okay.
All virtual. I'm not
saying, how are you going to travel and pack?
No. Virtual conferences, ladies and gentlemen, virtual.
Okay.
When is your official move date?
We're supposed to be out of the house by November 30th. So.
All right, friends.
Excited. So all my Tennessee folks, hit me up. Let me know what I'm doing.
Awesome. All right. Can we talk about Flip Hacking Live?
Beka, let's talk about Flip Hacking Live. This was all last week. We had such a ramp up to this amazing conference. This is a conference that we all met each other at. So let's hear about it.
Okay, so it started on Thursday morning, and it was unlike any virtual thing you've ever been to. Like the planners, it was an event. It was an experience. And there was a lot of money and like thrown into the back end of making it just this insane thing. So it started with check-in, just like you would do an in-person conference on Wednesday night. And I'll give you a little behind the scenes peek that part of that was to make sure there were no tech issues. But part of it also was to like set the expectation for people. You're going to be here. You're going to have your cameras on. You're going to be involved. You're going to be engaged. And I think it did a phenomenal job because people were so engaged. I flew into Nashville Wednesday morning to be with the membership team. So I have 2 people on the membership team. And then we have Kyle, who started with the company back with Justin. He was employee number 1. So he's technically in the marketing side, but he does everything.
This is for Kyle.
Yeah, he's awesome. He came in to the office to hang out with us. Vanessa has an assistant now named Sarah. She came into the office for a couple of days to it was really cool just to, number one, see how far this mastermind has grown. We were joking, Kyle and I were joking, it used to be Post-its and sticky notes, just show up. And Bill always jokes about how the first mastermind event, they show up, they paid $25,000 to be in this thing, and there weren't even snacks or anything. you know how big Bill is on food. It's you're not even gonna buy me lunch anyway. 2, now being this well-oiled machine, right? So we did that, and we thought we didn't really know what to expect, this being our first virtual experience. So we were all poised in our little Zoom room help desks to help out. And we did occasionally, but for most part, we just got to sit together and watch the conference up on the TV. So it was cool because we got to have a lot of neat conversations. I really got to know my team members more. I started asking them what their love languages are. Is that an inappropriate question? I can't tell.
No, you know what? There is look, we actually got this.
Love languages. Oh, I love it.
It actually is a thing.
I need to do that then.
So anyway, you're not weird.
No, you are weird, but just not in that sense.
Okay, good. Not inappropriate. That's what I want.
Not inappropriate.
And we got to watch Stephanie. So I presented on the last day. In fact, I was the last speaker. So I had all this time to just be nervous. And of course, being a true entrepreneur, didn't dot the I's and cross the T's until a couple hours before I had to speak. I don't know why. really thrive under the pressure, I guess.
I do it too.
But it started, there was this whole story. I mean, the whole theme of the event was hero and you being your own hero. Kevin Brown spoke at the beginning. First, Bill talked about Shrek and how Shrek goes on like this inner journey and this outer journey. And it's the outer journey, like going to save the princess, which is what he thinks he's called to do. But the reality is it's all the internal growth that he experiences while saving the princess.
Yeah.
And
how we're talking about like the layers of the onion.
Yes. Oh, parfait. And that just kind of set the tone for the whole thing, because the reality is we all know we get into this entrepreneurial journey thinking, I want to build a multifamily portfolio. I want financial freedom. I want to run a business. I want to lead people. But like Stephanie's presentation really, I think, brought it out, which is like, we actually go on this massive growth journey inside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And for like, she showed this graphic that I thought was awesome. I'll let you talk about it. The arcs of your
share it. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'll pull it up while you talk.
Cool. And by far the thing that blew me away the most was the consistent messaging from speaker to speaker. The stories that they told, they all had the same theme of like, you can accomplish more, but you have to commit to it. What? Hey! Well, Melissa's definitely going to get this, right? We were just talking about how at Flip Hacking Live, the theme was like, we all think we're going on this outer journey of real estate investing and financial freedom, but the reality is it's an internal journey of like unlocking who you are and becoming more and striving for better. And none of the speakers knew like what the next speaker was going to talk about. All we had was the headline. And yet they all were like, you're gonna get punched in the face and then you're gonna grow. and then you'll be like, what have I accomplished? This is amazing. So Stephanie presented near the end of day one. Tell us about your give us the.
I pulled this up. Can you see my screen or no?
I can actually share it, so let me know when you want me to.
All right, go ahead. You can share. This is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You can see my little notes, but this is the big one.
Yeah.
All the circles, all the journeys, all the decisions. But what I really liked about this is what it kind of shows. Oops, hang on. I've never done it with StreamYard before, but I really like this graph because it shows the cost. You know, first of all, you don't know, you know, what length of time this journey is going to take, and where you start isn't where you end up. And sometimes you go back, and I think underneath the timeline is the cost of the jump, of the sacrifice, of the time, you know? So I don't know. When I think about my journey, I think a lot about this, and really what everyone talks about is top stuff, you know, the big things, the exciting tools, the systems, the things that really impact your business. And those are super, super important, like very careful, but what I really want to talk about more, and I think what we're doing here in this setting is to talk about behind the scenes and the journey and normalizing that, you know, and it's okay that there's a cost, and it's okay to admit that there's a cost, and then we can help each other, you know, cope and be a tribe and with our needs, and then we can do so much more. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was the little.
Wait, can you share it one more second? Because I want to, like, I looked at it and I very specifically thought of a couple moments on your journey with that.
Oh, sure. Hang on, I'll put it back.
And I might not get this exactly right, but you've got that like first arc right there, right? The starting point on the left. Yeah. And that I think is a lot of people are like, I want to flip a house, right? Yep. And so you do it and it's that short arc. And then like maybe on the way, and then the second arc off of that one might be, and now we're going to build a wholesaling company, right? Like this thing led to that thing. But along the way, maybe that second dot is, I need to figure out my CRM system, right? I need to build this CRM. And then all of a sudden, wow, I built down a Salesforce company or Facebook ads, right? So I loved that because I felt like this showed that sometimes while you're on the journey from point A to point B, you pick something up along the way that you might not even recognize at that moment.
Right.
You picked up and is going to be huge in your future.
Yeah. And you can't predict that when you first start, you know, you really have no idea how to dream or how to even imagine the world that you're going to be opened up to it. I think that's a beauty for business, is like, and seeing, once you see opportunity once, you start to see opportunity again. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I can solve problems, not just for me, but for other people. Or you can see how a problem is overcomable and you can figure it out, you know, and you kind of get that internal, I don't know, that I think we all have this little voice inside us that doubts ourselves, you know? And every time that you overcome something or you solve a problem or you figure it out, you kind of feed that good part inside, that little kid inside you is like, I can do anything, you know? Yeah. And I just feel like as we grow up, it's so much easier to talk bad about ourselves. And I think that's something that's been so wonderful about this journey for me, is not just about outside opportunities and kind of bringing solutions for other people, but also feeling confident about what I can learn and what I can do. And my, you know, just your own ability, you know what I mean? Like, you can figure it out, and you really can. Like, you really can figure it out, and it's going to be okay. And I think that makes the journey a little less scary, because you're going to mess up too. Like, you're going to mess up a lot, and there's going to be a lot of obstacles, but you can figure it out, you know, and you kind of prove that to yourself over and over again as you overcome stuff. And the only real way that you prove that to yourself is if you actually try to overcome and you try to solve a problem. So that's the part that I think we need to talk about more. You know what I mean? Not just like, oh, this looks sexy to talk about today. Let's talk about like actually putting together the freaking strength and resources to solve a problem and like talk it out. Like, let's talk about our problems with people in our tribe who are probably experiencing the same things, and collaborate on that instead of just shouting from the rooftops about how wonderful you're doing in a certain arena and then like hide the rest of the picture. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's been big for me.
I was going to say, that sounds really familiar. What are we doing again here?
Yeah,
that's right. That's why I love this forum. That's why I think this is such a good idea.
Yeah. Melissa.
Yes. Yay. Let's see your shirt. What? Yes. Melissa has the darker version of what I have.
We got white on top, black on the bottom.
Yes. We didn't even plan that either. I love it.
I know, that was great.
What's going on in your world, Miss Johnson?
I'm like trying to swap my headspace. You know, when you're like all into something. I just did like a walkthrough on a house, and it took a little bit longer than I thought. That's why I was late. So my head is still like thinking about repair estimates and things in my brain right now. But yeah, things are good. The kids had their first day back to school yesterday, in-person learning. So yes, and it went really well. They were so excited to be with their friends again. And I was so productive yesterday, and it just felt good to be back to somewhat of a normal thing, you know, with getting up, taking them to school. I went to the gym, which I haven't done in forever.
Nice.
I meditated. It was quiet all day long in my house. It was really nice.
That seems to be the theme. And it was quiet in my house.
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been quiet in my house since March. So it was nice. But you know what was funny? Actually, I missed them. And I got a little sad, like packing up all Weston stuff, because they had, you know, I had all his school supplies here and his books that we had picked up from school at the beginning of the year for homeschooling. And I kind of got sad packing all that stuff up and taking it to the school, you know, and then dropping him off in the morning. It was like the first day of school for the first time again, all over again.
So out of practice. It'll go away.
Yeah, no, I'm fine today. It was just yesterday. But I like what you were saying about like what you pick up on the journey. And it was funny because I actually had the feeling too of like, it's not only what you pick up, but it's also what you leave behind. Mm-hmm. I think,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not always like the new. Sometimes it's shedding some old things too on that journey. And I think that's an important thing to remember and recognize too.
Absolutely.
So for my presentation, I came in at the end, right? And people's brains are blown up. And I had heard this podcast a couple weeks previous, and I just latched on. I was like, this is exactly where I need to go. And I talked about like butterfly development. Like, it happens from egg to caterpillar, caterpillar to chrysalis, chrysalis to butterfly. And I didn't talk about this in my presentation, but I went like I learned a ton about butterfly metamorphosis. And At the beginning, I said, like, who here has ever accomplished something they think is impossible? Or I said, like, who here thinks they have untapped potential? Like, raise your hand. A ton of people like blew up the emojis and stuff. I'm like, why do you think that? Like, well, I think kind of highly of ourselves. But the reason is we've all done things, like to Stephanie's point, we've all done things in the past that we didn't think we could do. And we know we're capable of it.
Yeah.
And so I talked about this butterfly journey, and caterpillars, first off, not many make it. And just thinking about like entrepreneurs, like, right, people who actually survive this and end up finding their sweet spot and what they like to do on those arcs, right? Which arc makes the most sense for them. Only like 10% of butterfly eggs actually make it to butterflies. And yeah. And so even just getting to caterpillar, there's a lot of like natural predators, and you can draw a lot of parallels to that with like the world, keeping you down. But then when a caterpillar makes the decision to become a butterfly, they have to go into their chrysalis. And inside the chrysalis, but before they go in there, they gain all this weight, knowledge, energy, right? Like we would say knowledge on our journeys. Then they're like, that's it. Let's do this. It's time to go inside the chrysalis. Inside the chrysalis, which I think is what most of this entrepreneurial journey looks like, their whole body essentially breaks down and rebuilds. It turns into this goo that's like fuel, and then they rebuild into this beautiful butterfly. And I just thought it was so powerful, that imagery of like what you were before, you use it as fuel to become what you're going to be in the future. And it's not, a lot of people I think struggle with this identity of what are people going to say, right? I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm not a real estate investor. What are people going to say at dinner when I tell them that? Like, I'm not leaving behind engineer. I'm becoming what I already have inside of me.
Yep.
Part of that was real estate investing, but now it could be something else at the end.
Yeah. That's kind of what I mean, I feel like you and I are always on the same page, but with the identity thing, like, you're not a job title. You're a collection of experience and skills and like natural abilities, and then like a lot of brute force, So.
And then to what Melissa was saying about letting things go, did you know? Because we actually grew butterflies in our house. We raised butterflies. They all survived, by the way. Amazing.
There's probably not many natural predators inside your house.
Actually, there are. I have 5 little predators, 2 dogs and 3 kids. So it's an amazing thing that they survived. Anywho, did you know that a butterfly also cuts off part of their body?
Yeah.
Some of it doesn't even make it into the chrysalis. They actually take off a piece of their body, the parts that they don't need. So the butterfly is a perfect metaphor.
It's so, I don't know, man. I'm like, I will never look at butterflies the same way. I now feel like they're my soul animal.
They're pretty badass, those butterflies.
Yeah, they are.
If only they had stingers, then they would be my soul animal.
We'll create like a butterfly bee. Butterfly wasp. Butterfly wasp?
Yeah. So that was the event. The event was awesome. And after the event, we open and close the runway doors. The runway program is the like 0 to 1 deals, right? Like getting your feet under you. Some people have done 1 or 2 deals, but really teaching the fundamentals of real estate investing, marketing, sales, construction management, like just, it's a different conversation, right? Than the higher level group who's already done it a couple times. And so for me as a membership, I mean, we put so much effort into leading up to Flip Hacking Live, but our job, I felt like, didn't really begin till Saturday night. And when people started signing up, and it has been crazy. Like, because I've spent the past year building out all these back-end systems. Stephanie will appreciate this, like Active Campaign and like our CRM, so that we can keep track of things, mailing out. We sent out boxes to all of them. We're going to give them t-shirts. So I have to get all their t-shirt sizes. I have to get the t-shirt design. I have to, like, there's just so many little things that I hope appear seamless on the front end, but there's a lot of work on the back end. And all 3 people on the membership team are on this support email. So I see this just flying. It has been like nonstop emails. I can't find my password. I don't know where the site is. This link doesn't work. Can you put this email address in? I meant to do that one. This is the wrong phone number. And my team has been crushing it.
I would expect no less.
What?
I would expect no less.
Yeah. So they're doing awesome. We rolled out a new site, and Stephanie understands this like software. 75% of the responses that we're getting are just kind of user error and learning. But 25% is like, oh man, we forgot that thing or whatever else. So then there's that. And this whole week just reminds me of planning a wedding. Like you plan the wedding, you have the wedding, there's like 9,000 different things happening. And you just know that like you're going to have 5 things go wrong and you have to accept it and hope that 95% of stuff goes right.
Okay, so actually what I wanted to ask about this was the afterwards, the decompression. I titled this whole show Decompression.
Man, I'm not there yet.
Mama's decompression. I saw you on Facebook, but you had the wine. You had the wine.
That's true. I kind of hit burnout on Wednesday. I just couldn't be on anymore. Even though I needed to be through the end of this week, I couldn't care anymore. You know, you hit that, you're like, I just don't care. I just do not care today. So I think I made dinner for the kids and I was like, they normally get to go on gadgets from like 7 to 8 before bed. It was like 6 o'clock and I was like, just go get on you like 3 hours. I don't even care. We're going to skipping bedtime. I grabbed a bottle of wine, poured some for me and Matt, cleaned up the living room. I was like, do not come back into this room. We are having adult time and not even like sexy adult time. Just let's have a conversation. And it was a great night. 2 hours. We just chatted. We withheld judgment on each other. So it was like very much, if you want to pick up your phone and respond to something, go for it. I'll share like what's happening in my world. Oh, this funny thing just came through. We were totally wasted by the end. Matt more so actually. I reined it in, but he's like, let's have another bottle. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a great idea. It's like it's once a month when he drinks. So, but this is funny. Maybe you guys appreciate it. The act of cleaning my living room, like making it really nice, no kids' toys around, putting out some candles, put on some music in the background. It like instantly took my stress level from, I don't know, a 10 down to a 7. Has anybody else ever noticed that? What are your like environmental hacks?
I'm like that with my bedroom. Like I have to make my bed. I literally cannot, I get this anxiety if I go in my room and I see the bed unmade or stuff laying around everywhere. So that's a weird thing that I have because it automatically, when I go in my room, if the bed's made, everything's in place, that I feel calm and I feel like I'm ready to rest and relax in that space. But I do the same thing too, like you with the living room. Like there have been a lot of times where I've done that too. Just, you know, the kids are in their room and I turn on my fake fireplace and I light some candles and I pour a glass of wine and it does make you feel good. And when the house is clean and like it smells good and it's just, it's a good feeling.
I've been operating at like Redline for so many weeks now that I just forgot about that simple. And it's kind of like meditating too, where I use the Calm app. Every time I open it, it says, take a deep breath. And I'm like, oh yeah, when was the last time I did that?
I love that app, the Calm app. I love
I
it.
do too.
It's one of the few actual whatever alerts that I get on my phone. I actually let them put an alert on my phone. I turn all of my alerts off, which is probably why I don't ever get to anything on time. But my phone tells me to breathe. And I'm like, oh, okay. That I can take a moment and it just makes me feel so much better. So mamas out there, take that time to decompress.
What about you, Stephanie Betters? What's your decompress go-to?
Yeah, I mean, cleaning is definitely one of them. I feel so out of sorts when things are messy. So like my kitchen and like, it's just, there's part of it that just is part of the reality. Like it's just never going to be perfect. Right. But the act of cleaning it and like resetting the house before I go to bed. Like if I'm like really, really struggling, I don't reset my house. Right. I'm just like, I'm going to bed. And I always feel so much worse. And then I wake up with that feeling of like, do all the dishes and like the stuff from dinner. And it really eats at me. So, but if I can like get my house clean and all nice and reset for it to be trashed again in the morning, at least I wake up and when I walk to the coffee pot, my kitchen's clean and like my living room, everything's nice and picked up. So that's definitely one of them. And I need to be outside. Like, and I forget about that. And sometimes honestly, Zach has to remind me, he's like, get out, get him out of there. Like, come on. And I'm like, oh God, I got so much to do. And he's like, we're going outside. So a lot of times he pulls me on my shell, but I feel so much better when I'm outside, even if I could just go for a walk, especially if I go for a run and like blast some music and like just be physical out there and then tire myself out. That helps my brain to kind of relax. And then I always feel like I can handle things a lot better after I've exercised.
I love that. I'm writing it down to remind myself. I'm going to make like a list of 5 things to do. I should get back to the miracle morning because that's basically encompassed in that. Yeah. What about you, Melissa Johnson? What do you do to decompress? Aside from what we've already mentioned, anything?
I love my hot tub.
Oh.
I sit in the hot tub almost every night. And I know it sounds crazy. People think you're crazy. It's like, you're in Texas, 100 degrees. Why are you in a hot tub? It makes no sense. But once you do it, you get used to it. That's literally my favorite thing, though. I love at night going outside. I'll turn it on. And I have been telling the kids lately, like, this is adult time, quiet time. Like, you can play in your room. I'm gonna
adult swim.
Yeah.
Out of the pool.
Because I'm outside and I love my backyard. I've made it into a really nice kind of sanctuary place that makes me very happy. And so I like to do that, sit in the hot tub and just relax and have a glass of wine and look around my backyard. And yeah.
Appreciate, right? Appreciate the good things you have.
Yeah.
What about you, Peely? What's your go-to? 75 hard?
75 hard. Go to now. Seriously, Melissa, you weren't here for this. I actually got the book.
Did you?
They have a book now.
It's official. There's a book.
They have a book. They have an app. It's crazy. I need, because I'm a very free flowing, I'll jump and dance all the time type of person. And especially when it comes to working out and taking care of myself, I'm like, I can do it at some other point, maybe at midnight. 75 hard forces, like you, Stephanie, it forces me to get outside, or else especially in the dead of winter, I'm not going to go outside. I'm from Hawaii. I want to be on a beach. So it forces me to get outside, and I feel so much better when I get outside, like you said, run or do jumping jacks or push-ups or whatever, in the snow, whatever it looks like outside, in the rain, but getting outside, just that helps me to focus. And it also forces me to have me time. In that hour and a half, Jason knows that I cannot exercise with the kids. They're just going to jump on me. It won't happen. So I have to have that time set aside where it's just me. So we have to plan ahead of time that mommy is not going to be here. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get this done. And this morning, I didn't get both of the exercises done because my little guy, who's 2, decided to wake up as well.
Yeah, they're very unreliable sleepers at that age.
Yes. Actually, they all are. Sometimes but the older 2 will stay in their beds, will read a book, but the younger one, I was like, okay, mommy will take some time, give him squeezes, give him hugs. It's so great because he's at that age where he's like, he grabs my face, he's like, mommy. Aww. And that melts my heart. I'm like, I just can't. Yes, you can come exercise with me. No. So I go downstairs. Jason's doing his exercises, which is like meditation and reading his book. I'm just like, there you go.
Good bomb incoming.
No, but we worked it out where it's just, this is my time, my hour and a half. If I don't get it done then I have to kind of dig and find the time. But we usually make it happen somehow, some way. So yeah, I make the time every day. Especially when I'm on 75 hard. If I'm not, then I don't have the structure.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of us, that needing structure to really accomplish what we need to accomplish. The other thing that I do to decompress, I don't know if anybody else is this way. So I've started going to the gym after work just because I need the mental break between work Beka and home Beka. I will put on the loudest, angriest music and I will turn it up till the point where I literally can't hear myself think. And just like, I'm not even raging. I just like completely tune out the whole world. Does anybody else do that? No?
I love that when I'm running, for sure.
I haven't done that for a while. I need to try it again.
This is so therapeutic. Like Matt doesn't normally come to the gym with me on the days that he does. He'll try and talk to me, which he's not really a talker, and I should appreciate this. But I'm like, shh. He's like, it's so loud. I'm like, no, it's perfect. Used to be like, and I've been going back to like Limp Bizkit, Corn, like. Really,
I have to go search my old iPhones or what do they used to call the music things? iPods. Thank you. Back into those.
Yeah.
Look at all my old music tracks.
So, yeah, I'm really going to decompress in 2 weeks, November 1st. Matt and I, it's our 15-year wedding anniversary. We're going off the grid. We're going to the beach. It's going to be great. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to go see Stephanie. Because you know what I figured out at Flip Hacking Live? This mastermind, like as a part of it, I almost kind of switched all my friends to people in or around this mastermind, right? And normally I see them once a quarter at the events, and that is enough to fill up my friendship need bucket.
Yeah.
I'm content to just get work done with a couple months in between. But this year, we haven't had any of these events, and I like Bill, Terry, Mike Simmons, and Andy were all in the studio in Charlotte. And I was like, I knew being in Nashville with my team was the right thing, but I was done. I'm like, I need hugs and I want to see my friends. And then I was like, I'm going to see Stephanie in like 2 weeks.
I went to the studio and I'm like, I'm hugging everybody here. Cause it was like 8 minutes away from our office and we were streaming the event at our office. I'm like, so of course I went there to talk, but I'm like, I'm going to hang out a little bit and hug everybody and like say hi.
Was it cool behind the scenes?
Yeah, it was really cool. It's very intimidating, like very technical, lots of wires and screens and Zoom rooms. And it was crazy to see what it looks like behind the scenes. Very impressive.
How much money they put into that setup.
It's like a huge space with so many wires. It looks like Matrix in there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that is like, when you talk about decompressing, I've set, and I think this is probably necessary for everyone, like setting something in the future that you're looking forward to, like that thing everybody needs, something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I have some things to look forward to in the next couple weeks.
Yay.
Melissa and Peely, you guys can come, but I know Peely, you're moving, and Melissa, you've got something else going on, but.
Well, you guys started off, and then we will make a more conference mastermind at some other point in the future.
That sounds fair.
How cool would that be, though? Really?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
A beach house.
I have ideas. I have these ideas that I'm gonna idea spew on you guys as soon as I hit and broadcast. Sorry, folks. You guys are gonna wait.
All right. So, who's next week?
Technically, it was you today. We had Stephanie last time, so it's either me or you, Steph, or you, Beka. It's like when you talk like you're calling your kids. You're just like, Beka, no, Steph, no, Melissa.
You only know how many times I do that. It's not even funny.
Me too.
Plus, I have kids, so it's always like I gotta run through. And I feel like my grandma. I remember she used to do that all the time. She'd call all of us grandkids, like, because there was like, I don't know, 10 of us or 15 of us or something. Go through all the names.
You guys are like, I'm like the grandma.
No, I mean you'd be a super hot grandma, but.
Anywho, I love you guys so much. Let's me.
Yeah, you can go. What are you going to talk about? Marriage? Talk about marriage. Who talked about marriage last?
What about marriage?
We haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah, let's dive into marriage.
Like it. Cool.
Love and marriage.
All right, friends. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm getting kind of crazy now.
Feel free to drop your ways of decompressing in the comments. We love seeing them, and we'd love to hear from you what we missed on our list.
Yes.
And remember, I have free tickets to the conference that I'm speaking at this weekend. So whoever drops their comments first will get those tickets.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yay. Okay. Bye. Aloha.
Bye.
Boop, 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 boop.